how the mind works is a very intense process. The mind is the strongest and biggest muscle in our body that we were never taught how to train. As a kid, I always wanted to learn how to train my mind because I've always been an intellectual asker, right? I've always asked questions and dozed off in class, right? I could be taking a math test, taking a reading test. I know all the information. I'm getting answers wrong on the test because I was thinking about this lead pencil and who made this lead pencil and where did G2 pens come from and where is this corporation, how did this business start, who's the CEO, and a whole rabbit hole full of thoughts that we would all do, as they say, daydream. We would daydream. We would be out of it, as they say, out of this world, out of this realm. And I've always asked these very intense questions that I could never really get the answers to until I began to be more cognizant. I began to be more aware of my thought process. Why I thought this way. How did these thoughts come to me? Like, these thoughts can't be mine, right? Who gave them to me? Did I find these in a lost and found? Who gave me these keys, like the alchemist? I'm stumbling upon all these different people. I'm figuring out these omens. I'm listening, I'm writing. I'm meditating. I'm asking and asking even more. But I'm not getting the answers I'm not getting any answers. So what can I go off of, right? And the whole rabbit hole begins of how the psyche works, how the mind is stimulated, how it began. And as we all know, the mind is a brain and the brain is a muscle. This muscle was never taught how to use. At first moments of birth, from 1 to 3, we were given signs, we were given signals from our parents, from our guardians. Whenever we were crawling on the floor, we're putting toys in our mouth, grabbing remotes, grabbing our dog's tail, just walking, running around the house, beginning to walk, take our first steps. We look at our parents for a signal. Hey, don't do that. And that tells us what not to do. That tells us bad. So now we know when their energy amps up, like somebody turning the car volume up, we know that's too loud. It's too much. Or that was something I did that was too loud or too much. But when somebody gives you a smile, that's a different vibration. That means good. And when somebody gives you no emotion, not even a smirk, not even a high five, not even a hug, it throws you off. And this comes from the beginning of our adolescent maturity. Now, there are different levels of psychology. As a man, this is how you master psychology. I'm going to name y'all the different areas and branches of psychology. We have clinical psychology, we have counseling, educational psychology, forensic health, school and sports psychology, right? Now, these are things that can be applied in your practical everyday instances, right? And then the basic level of psychology is behavioral, cognitive, biological, developmental, evolutionary, personality, and social psychology. And there's always been a pondering question for me. As a kid, who told you to think this way? That's been one of my strongest questions. Who told you to think this way? Who made you say that? Because when your thoughts rule you, you don't have any power over your life. When your emotions rule you, you don't have any control over your life. And it's almost as if these people are puppets. They just don't know it. They don't know it. It's like a job that a corporation you're a part of, your work-life experience is solely based in another person's palm. It's based in their hand. They can just snatch it down or bring you up, aka fire you or give you a promotion. So they are being puppeted. They are being controlled by other people's thoughts, feelings, and emotions. And I always used to ask, how? How and why? How are you feeling like this? That's not love. That's not truth. That's not honesty. Honesty is power. Love is power. Truth is power. They've made it a negative connotated word to be vulnerable. What it is to be vulnerable is to surrender. What it is to be vulnerable is to forfeit the lies. Forfeit the book of lies that you've been reading and subscribing to your whole entire life. And this is a completely dark night of the soul. I've made some other videos on the channel you can go check out. Dark night of the soul, if y'all don't know what that means. It's groundbreaking, but it's groundbreaking to your principles that were given to you from somebody else. So learning how to master your brain, that is essentially learning how to tap in to parts of the brain that weren't exercised. Once I learned this, once I actually studied, listened, and then implemented this into my life, the way that I treated friends, family, women, girls, high school, teammates, being a leader, being outspoken, having a type A personality, type B, type C, having a high IQ, low IQ. I thought about this in a whole different perspective. It's completely altered now. Once you see a certain way of living that is opposite of yours, there's no unseeing that. There's no going back. You will be dumb to be aware of a new life, given the blueprint on how to achieve it, and not taking steps in that direction. You'd be dumb. You'd be a fool. These multimillionaires and billionaires write books on books on books on how, why, what, when, and where they got rich. Yet, you don't like to read. Most people have gotten shunned and forced away from reading. Wow, you don't like to read now. What? But you say you want to be rich. You say you want to be a CEO, an entrepreneur, a manager, a leader, a boss. You don't read. You don't write. You don't journal. That's the basic level. That's the basic foundation. That's like me playing basketball and not knowing how to attack a defender going left because I'm a right-handed player. I'm going right every single time. If I have it in my left hand, I'm crossed over to the right, going to the... In the big leagues, guess what they're going to do? They're going to watch film. They're going to watch you play, and they're going to see how many times you went to the right. They're going to see how many times you went to the left wing just to attack to the middle of the court. Pull up midi, step back, sidestep, pump fake, drive all the way to the rack, get the foul. They're going to count. So guess what? Every time you attempt to set them up, slide in front. Just slide in front of his right hand. If he goes left, he's only coming back right. Sit on that right side. Or better yet, if you're a better defender, force him left, knowing he's going right. This is chess, y'all. This is chess. Force him left, knowing he's coming back right, and steal it immediately every time he goes back right. This is tapping into psychology, how to train the mind. how to train the mind. This is a study of the mind and the behavior. The habits, the habitual practices and guidelines that you do in every day. You have to ask yourself, you should be asking yourself, why am I feeling this way? Psychology 101 without a therapist, why do I feel this way? Away from everybody else. Was this thought given to me by my parents? You have to break it all the way down. That's why it's called root work. It's called groundwork. You got to fix the root cause. You can't fix the effects without going to the causes. There's no effect without a cause and no cause without an effect. This is the psychological game, and it takes severe, serious, intimate, intense practice. It takes intense practice, but you can do it. You can do it. You've gotten here thus far to watch a video like this, to be called and propelled to watch a video like this and sit through it. These are the things that's going to assist and propel and elevate your kids, your generations to come. You focus on your garden so the butterflies and all the animals flock to your garden, not run to everybody else's. They don't have what you have. They didn't study botany the way that you did. They don't know which plants to take out for the winter and implement in the summertime going into the spring. They're unaware. They don't know. You do. So this is breaking a generational curse. Mastering, being a master of psychology. This is what multi-millionaires and billionaires study. Do y'all realize that these multi-millionaires and billionaires who really run the world, if you know what I mean, they know more about black people than black people? Let that sink in. They know more about black people than black people do because they study us. They study how we spend. They study when we spend. When is the highest peak of spending? They know our expenditure, what we will expend and expand our time on, what we'll watch, how we're moved, how soulful we are. That's why we got soul food. It's a grand slam hit. Everybody who is not from the soul food town or city. I'm in New Orleans, so makes sense, right? What are they doing? Out-of-towners, outsiders, they can't wait to come to New Orleans to eat crawfish, gumbo, shrimp etouffee, these famous Southern dishes. They don't got that where they're from. They don't know what it's like to have summer 11 months out the year. Don't know what it's like. They have cold winters and cold summers. I've never seen snow. I've only seen hail living in New Orleans. I've never seen snow, right? But when you master psychology, you really understand how human behavior works. You fully understand. First level is understanding. That is all of the light bulbs turning on. Like, oh my, like you're finding new light bulbs in your brain to click. Habits, fear, worry, stress, envy, jealousy, greed, gluttony. All of those things reside in the back of the brain. And the frontal lobe is not exercised properly. So guess what happens whenever you strike an idea, as they say? The fear tactics, the guiltiness, the undeservingness of whatever idea, whatever concept you have, it flows to the front of your brain, and that's what it emits out to the world. That's why somebody can smell someone who is not confident, unsure, timid. It's very simple. You ever been to the mall? Sure you have. You ever been to Forever 21, H&M, PacSun, Macy's, Zara, Saks Fifth? They know when a customer, because they study this, sales, they know, they can smell when a customer needs some help, is lost, is aimless, has never been here before. Because the rich and the wealthy come to the store already knowing exactly what they have in stock, where it is, where to get it, in and out. They're in and out. They know exactly what they want before they get there. Now the middle class and poor, they're just so inflamed by the idea of being at Saks Fifth, Zara, Macy's, PacSun, the smell good, okay? They're passing by the cologne, the perfume. They get lost in the sauce. So the sales reps know how to go up to somebody who is clearly lost and kind of guide them. If somebody can guide you into their world, they can guide you into their pockets. And essentially, you're guiding them into yours, because this is how they get you to spend off of your emotions or your lack of. Psychology. This is psychology. This is what is only in universities. Hence why you got to pay to play. You got to pay to play to get this type of information. Why do you think in college they came up with the master's degree? Got the doctorates, associates, bachelors, masters. You know how many hours you got to put in to achieve a master's degree? Now that's another term that we should break down, but let's just take it as a surface level. The master program, the mastery program, the mastery degree. You are an apprentice on and off 2, 3, 4 years before you really get hired. Maybe before you can apply to this type of, right? It's exceeding 10. You're working 50 to 80 hour work weeks. Now, yes, you're younger, more youthful, right? So all you have is time. Until you realize you don't. How much time you gave up for your freedom. What's more important? Your freedom or your time? Because last time I checked, the ones that are really achieving wealth, and as they say, chasing the money, they're doing that so they can free up more of their time. They're hiring employees, hiring reps to do the work that they've done decades, years of for them. So now they're an employee of their business, of their corporation. This is what the true wealth means. And I'm going to make a full video on the 4 pillars of a happy and wealthy life. What it means. Can't have one without the other. And so, mastering the mind, asking these questions. Don't believe what I'm saying. Don't believe what I'm saying. Don't. But don't believe yourself too. Because we are the best and biggest liars, especially to ourselves. And don't believe anybody else. Do not believe yourself. Don't believe me. And don't believe anybody else. Book of lies or the book of truth? The book of lies could be 100 book series. But the books of truth can be a sequel. It could be a trilogy. That makes more sense, right? Trilogy, 3, unity, 1, Trinity, right? That makes sense. Which one would you subscribe to? When we're younger, when we're more adolescent, more right brain, more logical, more just go with the flow. You know what goes with the flow? A dead fish. When you're more of that, you just make aimless decisions because who cares about your time? You piss and shit it away anyway. It don't matter. Until you become cognizant and aware that, whoa, wait, my time is precious. Because I am precious. I was born here to create. I was born here to envision. I was born here to make art. I'm an artist. And this is any field of expertise. This is how you master psychology. Once you master psychology, this is why they say, when you know how to sell to women, you can sell to anybody. When you can sell to women, you can sell to anybody. Remember that. Knowing how to speak to them is pretty equivalent to knowing how to speak and sell to a little kid. And I'm not degrading or putting down women. I love women, okay? Grown girls, y'all got y'all place too, you know? But you have to break it down, like break down the food for them. Here you go, you gotta break down the chicken in 50 pieces for them to eat, to make the plate look. Or what you can do is put a nice glass plate, a clear glass plate on the table. You put a nice steak in the middle. You put some dressing. You put some A1 sauce in a little squiggly line. And you put some parsley on the top. And you have an emblem or a logo on the side. And guess what? They cannot wait for the food to come, to take a picture of the food and spend $50 for this plate right here, for this steak. And that's on the low end. You see where I'm going with this? Your life changes forever. Your life alters forever. Your perception, your filtered perception becomes very fickle. It evaporates because it's like, it's a virtual reality. Y'all ever seen Black Mirror? They put on the game, attach it to their mind, they lean back and they play. No control. It's a virtual reality where they control it in their brain. Control. You get it? Do you get it? Okay? Who is in control of your life? Are you a slave to your faults or a master of your fate? That's what you have to decipher. That's what you have to delve through. That's why books is so important. A lot of times you don't read it as it's a Bible. It's not your Bible. It is a checkpoint for you. Take the meat, spit out the bones. If it does not apply, if you don't feel as if it can apply to your life, let it fly. Why overcomplicate it? We do because fear is lingering. Undeservingness, distrust. You don't trust the universe. You don't trust God. You believe, partially. You believe because you see thousands and hundreds of thousands of people already believing. It's like a YouTube channel on the rise. When the YouTube channel has 800 subscribers, maybe 1,000 subscribers, people's not going to think too much. But when the channel has 100,000 subscribers, 500,000 subscribers, 500,000, then it's like, what this person has to say is 100% true. What this person has to say is right. Let me get my notepad. Let me actually listen. Everybody starts at zero. Everybody starts at something. And this is a part of binary coding. Once you know how to read zeros and ones, ones and zeros, zeros and ones and zeros, it's infinite. The possibilities are infinite, but you create it. You create the possibilities. And this is also tapping into the metaphysical realm. But that's another video. This is how you solve these math equations. Right here. Reading, writing, journaling. The reason why I can speak so well and so concise, so clear, with conviction as well. No stuttering, no ums, no likes, no looking away, confidence. I love to talk to people. I don't love the camera, but I love talking to y'all. I love speaking with y'all more. I feel like this is a FaceTime call. I'm just talking to y'all on the phone. I'm allowing y'all to talk. Y'all allowing me to talk. I listen, you listen. We're not cutting each other off. We work together. You don't work for me. I don't work for you. We work together. You clicked this video because you want to be here. I'm glad you are. I attracted and I manifested this moment for you to be here, as well as my day previous, my yesterday, my today led me here to make this video to post to the world that's on the internet forever. Once you master psychology, y'all, you're on your way to becoming a yogi. And doesn't that excite you? I find it so ironic how decades, centuries ago, they were called Greek gods. They were called mythology gods. Right? We got Zeus, we got Hades, and we got the Roman Colosseum Greek gods. They were called gods. We're called human beings. How you break down the word human? Human. Hue means a color. Hue means color, shade of. Man. Like we're man-made. Man. Human. Beings. What about human gods? African gods? We have the possibility to achieve that. Now, that comes with a lot of rewiring, like we've been talking about throughout this video. You have to rewire the programming from your guardians, your parents, your teachers, your coaches. I've had some very interesting coaches on both sides of the spectrum. So bad and so good, but none of them are on a higher or lower pedestal than the other, because the worst coaches in my life were the ones that propelled me skillfully through the roof. And my good coaches also implemented strong morals and self-confidence and increased my self-esteem when I'm 11, 13, 15, going into high school. I needed that. I needed both sides. You can't just know what a neighborhood feels like. You should also know what the hood feels like too. I'm not saying you gotta live there, but maybe drive by and see how they live, how they operate, how they look at cars driving by. They're not waving, they're staring. And in the neighborhood, they're waving, mowing the lawn. Got their fences and white picket fences. They got their Audis parked out front. They got their Camaros out front. Got their G-Wagons out front. Or they got a garage. They got a pool inside, basketball goal. But it stems from the same exact word. Neighborhood, hood. The same word, two different connotations. Wow. It's a cadence. It's a rhythm. There are laws of nature that are set in stone that we want to recreate. This is why a lot of internet people say, no need to recreate the wheel. Why reinvent the wheel when it's already placed there for you to create and be highly successful? Now, what they truly mean is the universal laws, the spiritual laws. That's what they mean. The law of correspondence, the law of rhythm, the law of the mind. All is mind and mind is all. We are a part of that infinite creative power. It never went away. It never went away. But we believe the lies from other individuals who were getting lied to, projections, that we can't. We're undeserving. We're not enough. That's not for us. We can't live like that. They're our enemy. We're upset with them because da-da-da. I can never forgive them because da-da-da-da. That's only holding you back. You're speaking, yet your hands are tied behind your back with handcuffs. And your legs are tied together. You can't move. You can't even talk with your hands because they're behind your back, chained in handcuffs. But you can speak all you want. You can speak to the guards. You can spit. You can curse them out. Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words may never hurt me. If that's the case, then why has the words that were spoken to you, maybe not even directly, it was indirectly, it was subconsciously you heard and you tracked. You tracked that in your brain. The words that were spoken to you as a kid, it is now walked with you all the way like a cloud to your adulthood. Wow. How powerful is words then? So remember this video. Remember these moments that you have been questioning the laws of nature, the laws of life, the laws of the land. You've been questioning it. Now, just because you question these laws does not make them less or more real. You got to question yourself. You have to go within. You have to unravel the mysteries that you were always running away from. Because nobody ever gave you responses. Because as a kid, you wanted answers that you liked to the questions you pondered. To the questions you posed, you wanted a specific answer. And if you didn't get it, you're throwing a fit, throwing a tantrum. Now, it has propelled you to your adult life and you still act the same way. Hence why you can't keep a job. You can't keep money. You cannot keep a relationship, whether that be intimate or platonic. Choose happiness today. Happiness comes from the studying of what it is to be happy and not happy. That's what it comes from. That's what it stems from. How are you going to get better at money if you don't understand and understand the psychology of money? The word is called currency. Yet you keep it in a bank account with no idea on where it's going to go next. You have to keep the money in flow, current, water, currency. It's magnetic, it's powerful, it's electric. If we wanted, in 2025, if we wanted to exchange rocks, if we use rocks as our currency, if we use pebbles, if we used corn chips, if we used pins as a way of exchanging money, exchanging funds, we would still be having the same mindset and frequency with money. Yeah, it's paper. We give it value. Yes, we would give pebbles value. We would give rocks value. Makes no difference. How are you going to get better at something you don't practice? If you don't use it, you lose it. If you don't use it, it begins to use you. It rips at your soul. It rips at your spirit. Then you can't sleep at night, and then you're 50 and wondering why you are so bitter at the world, because you live with a heart filled with regrets. Every time you speak, it's ugly. You could be attractive, but every time you speak, it's just ugly. It's just putrid to even hear, listen to. Nobody want to be around that. Unless they're haters of life, as you. Because like minds do ponder together. They do. So, I sincerely grant that this video has transformed your awareness and your knowledge and your insight and your intuitions on psychology. It's to anybody out there who wants to study more and go in more depth to the art of mastering psychology. Because when you do that, you can master anything. When you master psychology, the how, the whys, the whats and the whens, you will only be granted more wins. Thank you guys for watching this video. I'll see you on the next one. And it's JB, and I'm out.